Yo, what is up? It's your boy Skylar Game Time Diddy Verts, man. And we're back with another episode of the Weekend Moneymakers podcast. Let me start out by saying shout out to my sponsor, Dubby. Use my code Weekend Moneymakers at checkout for 10% off your first purchase. And yeah, come help your boy out. We got a sponsor now, so show you love, show you support. They got energy drinks. It's a powder mixture. I'm still waiting on mine to come in, or I will be showing y'all. It should be here by Monday, so next week on the pod, I'll definitely have it. Yeah, go over there and check out what they got. They got some cool stuff. They got some decent merch. They got shaker cups with your favorite animes on it. Yeah, just go check them out. Let me know what you think. Okay, so let's get into this. To all my haters, I love y'all, man. I'm glad y'all are here. I'm just happy to see y'all looking at the vids, commenting. Even if it's bad hate, we got to take shots. You miss every shot you don't make. So if y'all don't want to make the money, that's cool with me too. But if you do, let's ride, baby. Well, today we're talking about UFC Fight Night. Fluffy Hernandez versus HOBOCOP. You know what I mean? HOBOCOP, Rodriguez. So let's get into it with no further ado. We're going to start. I'm going to do a full fight breakdown for you. Let's start with Chanel Dyer versus Reed. I'm on the Dyer side. She's never been finished. She's got 5 KOs and 7 wins, but she hasn't knocked out any real crazy potential yet. So don't read too much into the knockouts, I feel. And on the other side, I mean, she has a really good gas tank and has a win over Jazz Judavicius in a prelim. Not even a prelim, but a before UFC fight. And then for Reed on the other side, she's a decent boxer, but she's smaller, slower. And I feel like she has less fighting capability. She's been KO'd 3 straight fights in a row. But she's a decent fighter. She's not really just a walkover. But I'm still going with Dyer. I don't know if she's going to knock her out, but I do like the points play at plus 200. Now, we're going to go kind of quick through these. I'm not going to really elaborate. I'm just going to do that, and then I'll give you all some plays at the very end. Schultz versus McVeigh, the battle of Jesus. We got 2 guys who want to look like Jesus. I see bodies getting broken, but I don't see wine getting made. Schultz, he has 6 subs and 9 of his wins. He's 3-4 over his last 4. He's a better grappler. He looks real bad on his feet, but he still tends to be pretty durable. On the McVeigh side, he has 4 sub wins and 7 wins. He's a better striker, is good at distance using his long striking, and I think, honestly, I'm riding McVeigh here. I see it being to where he's teeing Schultz up, and then Schultz shoots in on a bad shot and gets his neck grabbed. Because that's what McVeigh is pretty decent at, them front chokes and getting people into the guillotine when they take bad shots, and I could see that happening here. So I like McVeigh sub. It is a pretty wide line, so I think it's 5-1. 5-1 on that line if you guys are looking for some good value on a submission. So let's get into the next one. We got Gage Young versus Dorsonville. Young has 6 KOs and 11 wins. He's only lost in the UFC 1 time, and it was to Quentin Salicod, which is a pretty good fighter, as we've been saying. And if you follow the page, you know I'm high on Quentin. So I don't really take a lot away from Gage Young for that. And he was wrestled and taken to the ground so many times against Salicod. And as we've seen, Salicod in his last 2 fights has submitted really good guys that are good submission and good defense and jiu-jitsu guys. Hey. And I honestly don't see him getting subbed here. Draco, get down. Get down. Now. Get out. And Draco, get down. Stay down. Go lay down. Sorry about that. But Gage Young himself has pretty decent wrestling. He has nice forward pressure and has clean striking. He has 2 good level wins in a row. Has really good get-up game. So I see that being hard for Dorsonville here, where he is 5-0. He's an undefeated fighter. He's decent in the clinch with decent grappling. Throws pretty wildly, and that's where I think he's going to have his downfall, the fact that he throws so wild. But he is the bigger and stronger, more athletic guy, but I really don't think that that's going to come and play a huge part in this fight. So give me Gage Young. And the next one, we got Barbosa versus Cuse. Honestly, Barbosa's 18-2 with 15 wins by KO. He's on a 5-fight win streak, all by knockout. And he looks to kill with every punch. And I don't see that changing here. Where you got Cuse on the other end. He's 9-2. He does have 6 KOs and 9 wins. He's in a short notice debut fight. And he has a big tendency of eating big shots. And I don't think that fares well for him with a guy like Barbosa. So I like Barbosa by KO. And then we'll move on to the next one where we got Hasparat versus our boy Taco Padilla. I've been real high on Taco in the past, and I don't think it changes here. Hasparat does have 10 KOs and 18 wins. He's coming off a KO loss. Has a decent outside striking game. He's a good wrestler, but does like to be... He doesn't like when it gets close and into like bar fighting range, which is what Taco's going to bring to him. Taco hasn't lost a fight since 2022. He does have one draw, and that draw I feel like he got snubbed. He was definitely beaten Mendoza, and he's very good on the ground with the scrambles. Like, he has really good defensive scrambles. He's good in tough fights and making the fight really, really close combat style. And I really do see him getting the win here. Give me Taco Padilla. I don't know if he's going to knock him out or if they're going to go to decision, but I definitely think he's going to have more output and look really good in this fight. So give me Taco. And Nzechukwu versus Gaziev. Nzechukwu's 14-6-1. He has 10 KOs and 14 wins. He has good shots, but is pretty sloppy. I think he is the better striker, but this is not his formal weight class. He's a light heavyweight. He's not really a heavyweight, and that kind of gives me a little issue here. When you're fighting a guy like Gaziev who has 9 KOs, he's 21 pounds heavier. He's lost 3 of his last 5 fights, all being knocked out. So he does have a questionable chin. But he does have a clear advantage in the wrestling and still has decent hands. It's not like he's just some pillow princess throwing pillow fist. And I really think that Gaziev's wrestling is going to play a huge part here for the simple fact that if Nzechukwu can't get his hands going, what is he really going to do? You know what I mean? He's going to get tired out by a lot of takedowns. I don't think he has a real great get-up game. So I'm leaning dog here. Actually, I think Gaziev is the favorite, so I guess I'm going with the favorite in Gaziev. But that fight kind of screams stay away to me. So keep that in mind. I think Gaziev decision is a good play. Now we got Emmers and Douglas. Emmers, he's 22-8. He has a 9 KOs and his 10 wins. Or 9 KOs and his 22 wins. 10 by decision. He has a pretty good grappling game. He'll make it hard for Douglas by draining him. And that kind of worries me. But Douglas on the other side, 14-5. He has 8 KOs and 14 of his wins. He outstrikes his opponent by 3+ strikes per minute. He relies on a quick, fast striking barrage to get people out of there early. We haven't really seen his gas tank be tested yet, and when we did, he didn't look the best in late rounds. So that does worry me if Emmers can survive and take him into deep waters. How is he going to perform? But something notable to remember is that Douglas is training with Cub Swanson. The guys that train with Cub Swanson, they're just going to polish their boxing more and more. So I think my play here is either Douglas early or Emmers late. Emmers decision or Douglas KO. Play it both sides, arbitrary bet it, take one side on one parlay and one side on the other and play it like that. You're going to get really good value on Emmers decision though. Now let's move on to the main card where we got Went versus Chapman. If you don't watch Contender Series, Went just had a super nasty burst onto the scene 2 weeks ago with a 34-second KO victory in his Contender Series debut. He is an ex-NFL player like most of the heavyweights, like Josh Hokett, you know what I mean? I think he's much faster, much faster. And I honestly think this is a setup fight for him to get him on the scene and get him moving up quick, fast. UFC sees potential in this heavyweight. Heavyweight is a light division. So I honestly think that Chapman is a sacrificial lamb. I mean, he's going to be 30 pounds heavier. He's going to be slower. He's going to be sloppier. And I see Went coming in and getting this done. I don't really like any of the props for Went. Maybe a round 1 KO, and you're still not even going to get plus money on the round 1 KO. So I'm not really huge on that. Now we're going to go to Judici versus Chavez. Judici, she's never been finished. She's a better striker, is pretty decent at defensive grappling, and has a better gas tank, and is really durable. And I think that plays a role in this fight. Chavez, on the other hand, 8-0 with 4 KOs and 8 wins, can get people to the ground, but she's not the best at keeping them there, and that's where my issue lies. Judici is good on the defensive grappling, so as much as she will get taken down, she won't stay down. And I think Chavez, she's just very unproven so far. I think this is a big step up in competition, and I honestly think it's going to be too much for her. So I'm on the Judici side, and I'm pretty sure I like it Judici by decision. With a lot of women's fights, I like decision unless the woman is really just that good. Like Kayla Harrison, I'd take her for sub every single fight she fights. But yeah, give me Judici by decision. Now, let's move on to Medeiros versus Mason Jones. Medeiros, 11-1-1, 6 KOs. Should have lost his last fight to Taco Padilla. I was just talking about that. He got a lucky draw, but he should have 2 losses. He has a hard time with fighters that get all up in his face and has the worst grappling in this matchup of the 2. And you got Mason Jones, on the other hand, who's 18-2. He's on a 7-fight win streak. He's looked much better his second time around in the UFC. He's coming off a huge win over Axel Sola. And if you don't know, Axel Sola is a big favorite for a lot of people right now as a contender. And Jones kind of made light of him. He dominated him. And I think Mason Jones has the better grappling in this matchup. And he has really good hands. I could honestly see Mason Jones knocking Medeiros out. So give me Mason Jones. We'll move on to De Ridder versus Dolidze. De Ridder, 21-4, has 13 subs and his 21 wins. He's lost 2 fights back-to-back, but he has fought some really good comp in these last 2 fights, so I don't really discredit him too much. And he has a really good gas tank, and he doesn't really have to worry about the hands with Dolidze. He's a better grappler than Dolidze, which is Dolidze's biggest aspect of his game. So I think that speaks volumes to me for De Ridder. I could really see him getting the sub, even though Dolidze is pretty decent on the ground. He is coming off back-to-back losses. He has a weak gas tank when being taken down over and over, and I see that happening here. He has the worst hands of the 2. So give me De Ridder by sub. I like that a lot. We'll move on to one of my favorite fights of the night for the simple fact that the dog money line is pretty good. We got Spivak versus Petrino. Let's talk about Spivak. He's 18-6. He has 7 KOs and 8 subs on his record and his 18 wins. He's really good on the ground. He should outweigh Petrino by quite a bit. He has good sub skills. He's fought much better comp. He's fought all the best guys in the heavyweight division, and I think that speaks volumes. Yes, he might lose, but he loses to really good guys, so I don't discredit that very much. Petrino on the other side, he's 14-2. He's won 3 straight. He's much faster and stronger. I think he is the better striker, and he has decent takedown defense, but he kind of gasses out. As we've seen in his last fight against Steven Asplin, Concrete, he really didn't have a great time grappling against Steven Asplin. He couldn't keep him down. He was getting teed on. Later it got into the fight, the worse he looked. And it's only his 4th fight in the heavyweight division, and he hasn't really fought anybody that credible in this division, which I think this is a big step up fighting Spivak. and he has a really low fighter IQ. So I honestly see Spivak coming in here, chain wrestling, getting Petrino tired, getting him wore down, and maybe submitting him. I think it's a late sub, like 2-3 sub for Spivak, maybe arm triangle on the ground. I could really see that happening. So let's move on to the final fight of the night, man. We got Fluffy Hernandez fighting HOBOCOP Rodriguez. Let's talk about Fluffy. He's 15-3. He's coming off a big loss where he's a big favorite against Sean Strickland. He got beat up and knocked out. He's won 8 of his 9 fights. His last fights, 8 of his 9. Has a really good takedown game and has a really good gas tank, which I think raises some questions for me. You got HOBOCOP on the other end, who's 19-6 with 12 KO wins, and he's 6-7 over his last 7. He's never been subbed before. That's where my issue lies. He does get taken down from time to time. He has the worst gas tank of the 2 fighters. So I could see this either being HOBOCOP knockout early, like 1-2, or Hernandez getting the sub and giving HOBOCOP his first sub loss later in the fight, like 3-4-5. So those are my 2 plays for this matchup here. If you do 3-4-5 sub for Fluffy, you're looking at plus 600, 6-1, perfect parlay piece. And then HOBOCOP, you're going to get it plus money straight up on the money line, or even better odds on the knockout. Yeah, and I'm going to give you guys a couple plays. This is where I want AI to record, because these plays right here, I'm going to give you the most confident pick off top. I got a money line parlay. I got an early parlay for the prelims, an early cycle. If you don't know what a cycle is, well, you ain't been watching UFC enough. But I'll explain it. Cycle, you got knockout, submission, decision. 1 of each for 3 different fighters. Put it all together in 1 parlay. And honestly, these are my favorite plays of the night. This right here, Jackson McVeigh money line, Gage Young money line, Taco Padilla money line, Kennedy and Zechku money line, Spivak money line, Anthony Hernandez money line. Now, this is more of a crazy, like, jackpot parlay that I like right here. Jackson McVeigh to win by submission in rounds 2 or 3. And Anthony Hernandez to win submission round 3, 4, 5. As I was just telling you guys, I like the late sub. So give me those 2 right there. If you put those 2 together, it's 141-1. $285 off $2. If you can't spend $2 and you're mad about losing $2, you a broke boy. So I'm really not pressed about what you're saying. And then another one of my favorite plays, just to hedge LeRon Douglas. I like Jackson McVeigh money line, Gage Young money line, Taco Padilla money line, Gaziev money line, and Emmers with the upset. He does have a plus 300 underdog win already on his record. I could see it happening here if he tires LeRon Douglas out and can survive the first 2 rounds. I think it's really just the fact that he's going to have to survive 1 round, and after that, he could take over. But the early fight parlay, the early prelims cycle parlay for me, I got Chanel Dyer by points, Jackson McVeigh by sub, Gage Young by KO. I like that play a lot. You're going to get really, really good odds on that. So I'm riding with that. Now I'm going to give y'all one more play, and I really like it to hedge the last one I was talking about. LeRon Douglas by KO in the Anthony Witt fight to win in the 2nd minute of round 1. Oh no, hold on. I just mixed 2 parlays together. Let me go back. This is the parlay right here. Anthony went by KO under half a round. Hasparat by KO under 2.5 rounds, and Gregory Rodriguez by KO under 2.5 rounds. If you don't get the trend here, I'm hedging both sides, so I'm really okay with most of the things that could happen in the fight. So yeah, those are my plays for this week. This has been the podcast. This isn't going to be a super long podcast for a fight night. I tend to not do as long a podcast for the fight night. Remember, go look at W.com. Use the code Weekend Moneymakers and check out to get 10% off. Support your boy. I haven't tried it yet, but I only have good hopes for it. It will be in this Monday. My product will be in this Monday, and I will give y'all an honest review next week on the podcast. Maybe even Tuesday on the Dana White Contender Series podcast. So look ahead to that. And I just want y'all to know, whether you love me or you hate me, I love you. I love you. I'm a nice person. And I don't have to explain myself to nobody. So either you rock with me or you don't. Either way, I'm still getting in my bag. But with that being said, I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.